The topic of my presentation today is hard and soft tissue modification to achieve predictable and stable results. And all we do in our everyday practice is lead us to enhancing the aesthetic and biological outcome of implant placement. So, how to get there? What we have to do for this result? This is the basics. I'm not opening America. Bone and soft tissue augmentation may and should enhance and optimize the quality and quantity of structural bone. I want you to pay attention. This word, structural bone, means that this bone can bear the tension from the implants which we are placing in this bone. And of course, we have to pay a big and great attention to amount and volume of soft tissue and keratinized tissue around our implants. This is well-known. Tissue is an issue, but bone sets the tone. And my lecture will go around all this stuff, creating new bone, enhancing soft tissue, creating new emergence profile, surrounding our implants with enough amount of keratinized tissue to be sure that the result will be long-lasting. So first of all, we have to build substantial bone support for our implants. Then we have to create sufficient soft tissue volume and necessary width of keratinized tissue. Here is some example of that. Then we have to modify soft tissue to get ideal emergence profile. This is not easy. That is why I said that we have to follow 3P rule. And the most important is the passion. If you have passion, you will get the final result. Of course, we have to be able to support our emergence profile with properly designed restoration. And each time the same steps, performing bone augmentation, increasing the volume of soft tissue with connective tissue grafts, increasing the width of keratinized tissue with free gingival graft, and modifying the shape of emergence profile with temporaries using so-called dynamic compression technique. And finally, we have to support our created emergence profile with properly designed restoration. Easy. Okay. The other case, this is the case of immediate implant placement at lower implant first molar. This is, I want to return. You have to take attention. As Salah talked about that a lot of time, that we have to have trabecular bone in between the roots. Otherwise, this technique of immediate implant placement into the septum doesn't work. You will fail. Or you will destroy everything there and put the implant just getting initial stability due to 2 millimeters of the bone beneath the socket. Okay, just go through it. This is our initial situation. We take out the root very carefully. It was ankylosed. You see how many pieces of roots I take out from the socket. And of course, we have to use piezo surgery to be sure that we can establish the track, the way we are going to make our osteotomy. It's very important. Otherwise, it's very difficult to go through very thin septum and to be safe and stable with the drills. Even with these PIC drills, which is very, very sharp and precise, it's very difficult to do the procedure. That is why we have to have this piezo surgery device in our armamentarium. Okay, we check out our 3D position. We have to be sure that we keep all the rules. I don't want to mention it, you already know. And this is the most fabulous result which we got. I want you to be very careful with that and very attentive. Boom, boom, boom. Wider, 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 and we still have the bone around it. So what we did, from 1.8 or 1.5 millimeter, we go to 4.0 millimeter. And still keep the bone around our septum. And we are ready to place implant inside the bone, not in the air. Just look at this. This is amazing. Thank you very much to Salah. He just gave us this opportunity to perform such type of procedure. I love it so much. Really, thank you so much. And then I want to show initial situation and final result. This is amazing. And all due not only to our hands and the tool which gave Salah to us. As he told many times, It's because of the nature. It's because of the collagen which we have in trabecular bone. We just use the characteristic of the bone. We just use plasticity of the bone to enlarge it and to keep the walls there. Okay, this is initial and final result. Is this a miracle? This is a rhetoric question. It's a miracle for me. But it's all about bone plasticity and elasticity. We have to utilize all these characteristics of the bone to get such type of result. Okay, I want just to show several such type of cases, the same result, the same predictable outcome in each cases. The only thing we have to take into account that your septum has to be a little bit trabecular. Otherwise, it will not work with your hands, not even in my hands. And I have a couple of dozen of these cases. We collect all the data, and I'm waiting from my colleagues. Just not be lazy, put it together. We are ready to go with the beautiful articles about this technique, which allows us to keep the bone there. And with my cases, I have one case about 3 years, the other case 1.5, 2 years, 2.5 years. So just ask me, yeah, thank you, but you are a little bit earlier than me. Be acquainted with this beautiful person. So I ask you, really, let's put together. It will be a very interesting article. So look here, the same thing. I want to return. Nothing at the beginning, just 1.5 millimeter. And we are able to create the osteotomy 3.84 millimeter. In each of our cases, there is a dozen of these cases which are reproducible, and we can do it. You see the protocol, here it is. This is the before and after, the same thing everywhere. This is the protocol, and it works very well. You have it in your material which we gave to you. And then after the osteotomy, we grafted it with the bone chips. We put it in sticky format. Of course, we have to overgraft. Like Dr. Darosa shows us, we always have to put a little bit more above the platform of the implant to be sure that we will not have any voids, any empty space there. Otherwise, it will not work. Now we are placing our healing abutment. We, of course, look, 75, its initial ISQ. It's amazing. We put the implant nowhere, in the air, practically. This is healing abutment with poncho technique. This is healing. Of course, we changed this wide abutment. Why use wide abutment? To protect our bone from slippage from the socket. Then we changed to a narrow abutment to allow soft tissue to ingrow there. And our temporary crown. Look, this is our modification of temporary crowns. And this is the final result of the soft tissue. Just 2 modifications, and you are able to reproduce it. Just add small amount of increments of flowable composite there. And during 2 weeks, you will get such type of result. Now we are ready to deliver our final restoration. We, of course, customize transfer to be sure that we send to laboratory very precise data. This is our impression with customized transfer. And final data. You remember? We begin from 77, and 2 months later, 83, 86. This, we always check in 2 dimensions, mesiodistal and vestibular buccally. Vestibular lingually, sorry. This is final crown delivery. It's beautiful.